Moving Iron Podcast is proud to be part of the Global Ag Network. The network is going live soon, so check out globalagnetwork.com for more details and updates. Now on to the show.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Good morning and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast Market Rundown with Angie, Setzer. If you notice, she's in Santa's workshop, as you can see behind her there. She's got all the good stuff. You can't see the elves though; they're too short to be on camera. But Angie, welcome to the show. How you been?
Good. Just in my mind, I'm wrapping all of these presents and sipping eggnog and watching the Holiday Baking Championship Marathon on the Food Network. But in real life, it's Harvest Day 7,852.
Yeah.
So we figure we might be wrapping up here. Actually, I just talked to my operations guy, and he said, I think we're almost done. And I said, you told me this 3 times now. So I'll believe it when I see it. But I think we're finally getting there. So that's much better than that's the only wish I have for Christmas.
Is your operations guy work for the trade negotiation with China? Is he keep
yes.
that kind of sort of thing?
Yeah, he just tells me the same thing every day for a string of months, and I believe it. Right. And it's a good relationship.
You get all fired up, and then nothing happens. Look out. So nice.
Yeah.
All right, so before we got started here, you were talking about a article that Bloomberg put out about some possible, again, everyone don't get excited, some possible purchases from China here as far as soybeans go.
Yeah, so that's the conversation. We've been seeing it for a while now. The rumor first hit last Monday, the talk amongst people in the industry that China is making the decision this week, and then I think it said this month. I'm not sure. My notes are a little garbled up. Apparently I'm hungry. But it's looking like they're going to try to determine 5 to 8 million, if they're going to purchase 5 to 8 million metric ton. So my math tells me that's about 184 million to 294 million bushels, depending on what they decide. Obviously, state reserves do not have the tariff attached, so they're able to do that much easier. There is talk that some private groups could come in and also purchase upwards of 2 million metric ton. But again, we've been hearing that now. This is day 6 that we've been hearing that. So we'll definitely be paying attention there. The thing that really kind of is catching my attention more than anything was the Ag Ministry determined here over the last few days that we're no longer going to see pig production take place in areas where wild boars are present. I don't really know what that means as a whole. Obviously here in the U.S., there's a boatload of wild boars just about everywhere you go. It seems you have some sort of presence, here in Michigan, maybe not so much, but they exist, So it makes me wonder what that means for their production as a whole. And it also makes me wonder what that means for their demand, because that ASF has spread so quickly. It's over 80 cases. It's in just, almost over half of their provinces, almost 2/3. We've seen China come in the last 2 weeks for pork on the export sales number. So do they need to import beans anytime soon, or is this kind of a way to make us feel better about what's going on during the negotiations or not? So we did see China's imports in November were at the lowest in 2 years, and we actually saw U.S. bean exports in October the lowest since 2011. So we definitely do need to see some sort of uptick here pretty soon, or it could get a little bit more sadder.
Yep.
Whatever that.
There is I think there was an article maybe a month ago. They were talking about the swine flu and how they had detected it in some of the wild boars, and they thought that once it got to that point, then it was almost 100% obviously uncontrollable then, because it's a wild population that they have no control over at that point. So
yeah,
that does strike a pretty big problem for pork production in China.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, it's really one of those things that The disease itself, we only first discovered it in August, and the spread has been unprecedented, and it's not a matter of if, it's kind of a matter of when. And we also saw, Vietnam right now is quite concerned about what's going to happen there as they're on the border. And, it doesn't seem to really care about borders and the spread. And if it's in the wild boar population, it's not like they really pay attention to which country they're hanging out in either. On top of that, you're seeing a lot of Chinese pig farmers really kind of encouraged, maybe in their area, there's a lot of pork production and the supply has not been impacted by ASF. They're ready to wheel it into areas that have been, and they don't even realize that they're transporting the disease, not to mention the fact that a lot of them are eating these pigs that are contaminated with the disease. And then, in northern areas of the country where they're a little less modern, they feed the leftovers of their nightly dinner to the hogs. Which is always awkward. Like one pig's like, is that Roscoe? And the other pig's like, just shut up and eat. Yeah. Who cares if it is? He tastes delicious. But
it always causes some family strife.
Yeah. But pigs don't care. Pigs are crazy.
Yeah, they're cool like that, I guess. All right. With the soybean thing happens this week, how do you think the market's going to react to that? Do you think they're going to be like, you know what? This is just kind of a ceremonial gift from China, or do they really feel like that's going to launch something?
I don't know. I wish I did. From a fundamental standpoint, I saw it worded best this morning, and I think Treg Cronin had said it on BTN, but I could be wrong. It might have been Garrett Twag. I want to give them both credit just in case, because I don't want to misquote the wrong person here, because I'll probably misquote it. But paraphrasing it, carry out, is going to increase by well over 100% here from last year to this year, and price is only down 4%. So, we're really kind of at this point now where exports have been so slow for the first, quarter of the marketing year, because we're basically working our way. This is the last month of the first quarter of the marketing year, and we're well behind where we should be, even with the lower projections from the USDA. So China steps in and buys 200 million bushel. It's positive in the fact that it's a purchase, no matter what. But does the market really get excited about it, considering the fact that the Brazil crop at this point looks to be record large? So I think the only way you really see another leg upward that lasts anyway, I'm not saying, most of my customers right now, we have target orders in to catch, some 940 January moves, 975 on the November, something like that. We have those target orders in place just in case we do get a pop to the upside and some excitement that comes from it. But at this point, I don't necessarily expect it to last long without some sort of hiccup in the Brazilian production, which right now it looks to be pretty good.
Yeah. How do you think? Okay, so we have the December crop reports coming up here pretty quick, and then the January crop report is the most important crop report of the year. With harvest winding down, how do you feel projections are going to be for that January crop report? Do you feel like we've hit the numbers the USDA had put out, or do you feel like there's going to be a bit of a correction there?
I think we'll probably see yields adjusted lower again, at least from what I'm hearing, just about everywhere. For one, we had a significant amount of crop left in the field as of December 1st, and that's what the quarterly stocks numbers are queued off from. How does the USDA treat that? Is that on-farm storage? I don't know. I guess it is. It's flat storage on the farm. But, and then, from what I'm hearing anecdotally, yields were off versus a year ago throughout much of the Corn Belt. Ohio, I think, had a lot of places that had higher yields. Ohio, Indiana, parts of Illinois. I'm not really sure once you get out west beyond North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, where they're at. But I know throughout much of where I live there in Iowa, talking to folks at co-ops there and things like that, they didn't see the crop come in they expected. And so, when you have co-ops in Iowa that aren't filling up, it makes you wonder what the heck's going on, Right. So we'll be watching it to see there's, two different things. Are the yields as large as expected? Does the USDA make corrections, or do they just kind of allow that to show up through subsequent reports, kind of maybe factoring in increases in demand that we aren't anticipating, maybe higher feed use or something like that. They can always do that. It can either be a reduction in supply or an increase in demand as we work our way through the year. So we'll definitely be watching to see. But tomorrow's report will be interesting just because typically December reports are really, really boring, but the USDA has been really good at kind of bucking the trend here lately and making major adjustments when they're not expected. So, I guess at this point in time, the administration loves drama. So it's not, we'll see what kind of dramatic, I don't know. I watched Young and the Restless during every summer when I was a teen, and I never saw as many twists and turns as what I've seen, I feel like, over the last 6 months or so, as a whole.
Yeah, there's never a dull moment. It's plenty of, let's put it this way. There's always a moment somewhere you can fill in the adjective that you want to put on top of that.
I'm ready for a dull moment. I'm in holiday mode. Can we do holiday mode? Can we have like 2 weeks?
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Just a little bit of a ceasefire would be nice. So
yeah. So I updated my Advent calendar today to day 15 days until Christmas.
There you go.
It was stuck on day 38 a while ago. So apparently 20 some days went by and I didn't even realize it.
Yeah, that's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right, Angie. Well, folks want to get a hold of you and pick your brain a little bit and learn a little more about the stuff we talked about here. How would they do that?
You can reach me at Goddess of Grain on Twitter or a Setzer at citizenselevator.com.
All right, Angie. Well, have yourself a good start to your Monday, and we'll talk to you again on Wednesday.
You too. Have a good one.
All right, we'll see you.
Moving higher in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you.